What's going on? How y'all doing? All right, we're live here on Friday, April 26th, here to answer any of your questions related to immigration. Okay. Um, there's a topic, hot topic, of course, in immigration. It's always a hot topic in general, but one of the more recent hot topic is related to suing the government, and especially people who are outside the United States that we call consular processing abroad. People are stuck. There's about at least a half million people still stuck waiting for an interview. They've already been documentary qualified. So stay tuned. Watch all the way to the end of the show so you can learn more. My name is John Ting. I practice immigration law. I manage my law firm, Ting Law Group, here in Houston, Texas, is our physical office. Yes, even though we're physically in Houston, we do accept clients in other who live in other states and across the world. Of course, as we practice immigration, but just want to make sure you'll know that. Now, let's see here. All right, so this is how it works. I usually go through a topic of the day for the first 5 minutes or so, and then, of course, answer some questions that y'all have in the your respective channel. Alrighty, so we're here on greencardguys.tv, and if you are interested in seeking a further strategy session, pre-qualify for a session, you go to the link right above here or your respective channel on the main profile page. And typically, right around underneath the profile photo is a link, and that will take you to a short form, answer a few questions, and you'll get redirected to our calendar system. Now, please know we do charge currently reservation fee of this amount. It is less than a cup of coffee these days. It's kind of wild how much coffee costs now, but it's really a less than a cup of coffee. Anyways, let's get down to the topic of the day. Let me see if I can share my screen. If I can find it here pretty quickly. So for some context here, now I've talked about the half million people, more or less. They claim it's less right now. Actually, as of March 31st, they're saying it's 404,000-ish people whose immigrant visa, specifically not non-immigrant visa, but immigrant visa, whose cases are documentarily complete at National Visa Center and ready for interview as of March 31st. So less than half million, but for a while it was around the not dollar, half million number of applicants. All right, so that's a lot of people. This has always been a problem in general, even before the pandemic. But of course, as a pandemic created further worsened the backlog, and something that has happened that has made it much more worse for people abroad is not just waiting for the interview, but the process after the interview. Okay. A lot of y'all think that, oh, yeah, I've heard from my family member or friend that went through the process in the past, like got through and got the visa like the next day or 2 days from now. I don't know why on TikTok my face looks so bright. It like defaulted. Social media thing is a crazy thing. My skin is not this color, not that clear actually. But anyways, y'all need to know this because if you're going to apply, especially for a spouse, and you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna see my Pookie Bear in a year or a year and a half." Well, unfortunately, even when you get that interview, it could take some more time, and a lot of it has to do with possibly your skin color slash nationality. Okay, your country of nationality. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. Post because of 9/11, 2001, even though that's 23 years before, they still are very concerned, of course, about terrorist activities, things like that. Even on paper, your application is just fine. And unfortunately, you might think, well, John, there's nothing, literally nothing in my background. Every country I visited and I put on the DS 5535 form is not even into a country that may have potential terrorist ties. It's very unfortunate. And then you would also think, little rant right here, real quick. You'd also think that the government, if they're going to do this background check, that they would do that before the interview. But what they're basically, from what I understand, is that they don't want to do the background check fully all the way through thoroughly until after you have the interview, because they think in that situation, if they do it the reverse that I prefer, or y'all should prefer, that it'd be a waste of their time. But look, man, it's backwards thinking, in my opinion. But what do I know? I don't work for the government. I've never worked for the government. So, alrighty. So, welcome to the show. Happy to answer your questions. And even if you're a client, welcome to the show. Always love hearing from y'all. And, by the way, if you do, it'll be our pleasure to assist you from start to finish or in the middle of a case to the finish line, because many law firms don't like doing that. And we think, part of our mission is to help you get secure your legal status to live and work in America legally. Go figure. But most law firms don't have a mission statement. Okay. So, but that helps guide us to feel that we're doing something correctly, or with our passion, of course, to do it for y'all. All right. So, anyway, let's go into this thing about the topic, at least what it shows on YouTube. Visa applicants are allowed to sue U.S. in shocking court ruling. There's more to come with that, but this is a lawsuit that's been going on for several years, okay, and it's finally gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. So there's more to come with that, but here's the deal. It really, this whole mess started because of, I'm trying not to blame a political party, but let's just blame it on one person at least. Presidente Trump, okay? He caused this mess, of course, with the travel ban, whatnot. But there is a case that comes to mind that's filed by, actually, I believe, an immigration attorney herself, and she filed for her spouse, and her spouse was refused a visa. So imagine, of course, what most attorney would do. They'll sue the government. So that's what's going on now, and I believe it's gone all the way to the Supreme Court. And I think it will be heard. Right now is April 26th. I believe it will be heard, if not summer, or decision by summer this year, then November this year. Okay. They usually do the scheduling order and schedule it out so that people have a decent idea of when that's going to be. But that could change a trajectory here on for a lot of applicants. And essentially, what that lawsuit is alleging is saying, hey, look, the government, USCIS, or U.S. government, specifically Department of State, the embassies, and the consulates, the visa officer need to they need to provide the reason why someone's visa refused. I mean, reasonably, I think the same thing. If someone's going to be refused a visa, like, look, I get it if it's a national security issue, but if it's not a national security issue, they should at least say, oh, it's because of tattoos on their that they have or something. It's gang activity. But a lot of times they don't specify, right? And even if something ridiculous, like, I don't want to call it ridiculous, but tattoos that could portray as gang activity, okay, show me the proof. Why is this particular tattoo portrayed to be associated with a gang? And even if so, that's an assumption. Prove to me that I'm a member of that gang, right? I mean, so that's not even, it's just ridiculous. All right. So I'm going to share in the respective platforms later on the lawsuit I'm talking about, so you have more information on that. But if you don't find that and you're interested, please email us. One of our emails is wecare@johntinglaw.com. And that's my last name, Ting. Ting. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your questions. Welcome to share your experience. Hi, Julie. And I'll try my best to answer your questions. Of course, this is a live show, so I'm trying to make this quick natured. Y'all have quick questions, but the answers are not so quick per se. They're usually very detailed, of course, as you can imagine. But again, I'll try my best. And but if I don't answer as in depth as you would prefer, please go ahead and send us a DM. I greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's get down to it. All righty. Hope y'all doing well. TGIF. All right, oh, there we go. There we go. I'm scrolling down here. Hey, Lawrence, what's going on? Where are y'all watching from, by the way? I'm always interested how far these channels have gone, have reached. All right, King Godellis, good day. What does it mean when USCIS is telling you that we're taking action on your case? So I answer this every day. Happy to answer again, of course. And it doesn't mean much, okay, unfortunately. Look, if y'all get lucky or fortunate that when you see that status online or your My USCIS account and it actually produces the outcome you're looking for, the resident card, the work permit, um, by like next week, that's wonderful. But for most of y'all, if I had to put a percentage on that, 99.9% of the time, they are inaccurate and they're just messing with us. Okay. Very fortunate. Even attorneys, when we have our own account online with USCIS, they don't tell us these updates that they're providing you. And every time I've called in with USCIS representative, they're like, yeah, that's inaccurate. And I feel bad for them because, of course, some of y'all are calling them like, what does this mean? So here I'm on a live show, just cut to the chase. It means nothing most of the time. Well, let's see here. Hey, Tez 007, it's not so much the EAD, it's about a particular notice, like deferred action. Let's say like DACA or has deferred action, um, or what else? For example, like filing for asylum. It's the act of filing for it's just different applications. So because filing for asylum in that situation is the act of the filing of the asylum. Whereas like for example, like filing for DACA doesn't mean you get the deferred action at the time of filing. Okay. It's when you get the letter. And also for U visa, you'll get that letter later on for deferred action to stop the unlawful presence. So in different case applications have different scenario. Okay. All right, let's see here. Adrian Kissoon, what's up on Instagram? Hey Raja, your wife entered the U.S. with a holiday visa. I know it. I don't know. We don't call it holiday visa, but that'd be good. Maybe your wife is from a European country. After 90 days, you got married. Congratulations. Okay, I think I know why my wife is calling me. Let's see here. We have issues with closing our garage. It's weird. If y'all can hold tight for like literally 5 seconds, I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, we good. All right. So let's see here. Okay. So on Instagram, Adrian, your question approved. Okay, great. Approved in January to 45 in January. So 2 or 3 months ago. Still pending. Your green card holder who petitioned for her. Any advice? Oh, you're the green card holder. Okay. You live in New York. So what's going on? Oh, still pending, not approved. The I-130 is pending. All right, folks. So I just read Adrian's message here on Instagram, and what I think I understand the question to be is why is a 485 still pending when the petition's already been approved and it's been several months? Okay, and here's the what I believe is the situation. He had said, okay, that he is a resident. A lot of people don't know this. So yes, you can file a petition. You could file a 485, but your spouse to be approved for 485, among other requirements, but one of the main ones that you have to currently maintain your non-immigrant visa when the sponsor is a resident. When the sponsor is a U.S. citizen, it's a different situation. There's more legal leeway. Okay. And the legal leeway is it waives the unlawful presence. So therefore, meaning a foreign national, an immigrant, who is an immediate relative classification, not family preference, can overstay their visa, technically. Okay. Again, and so in this situation, as a spouse, the spouse has to be a U.S. citizen. So that could be the issue, Adrian. I hope you don't have this situation, but I'm suspecting that you will likely receive a request for evidence asking for proof how your spouse has maintained status, non immigrant visa status, or they could just straight deny you, possibly. All right, let's see here. Routes and routes. You called USCIS yesterday. I believe your situation was like no receipt notice or something. They told you you got clarity. They told you that the only update they see on your end is that the biometrics interview were waived. Well, that's interesting. Have you applied for something before where you had to do your biometrics? Um, I'm glad they told you that, but I don't know if that's true because that's a pretty good. Is that level one customer service rep, or is that like did you have to wait for tier two to call you back? I'd be very interested in that. Um, this update was as per the next day received your case. Well, that's pretty freaking quick. I'd be very surprised. What did I just ask you if this is your first time? What did you or let me rephrase the question. Did you apply roots and routes? Did you apply for a different application before in America where you had to do biometrics? Because if you didn't, then how I wonder how your biometric can be waived. You also ask, but this is update. They told you it actually doesn't appear on your end. Yeah, they wouldn't update on your end. USCIS online does not update very well, or do not update very well. It's been 71 days now. Okay, well, did you ask them? I think if I remember, you didn't get the receipt notice, so that's why you're even calling in the first place. Or maybe you did already. You said as a customer service agent, and you also called two different times. Just oh, you have pending asylum, so it's possible that it's more likely possible that your biometrics was waived, but that update being right after they received your case, that's more doubtful. But I hope it works out for you. Keep me updated, okay? Roots and routes. I'll try to keep track of that. Okay, back to Adrian real quick on Instagram. You said she got her work permit and even her social number and 131 approved. That's great. So, but if she at this point have overstayed her visa already, her tourist visa, that's no go. She's not gonna get approved. If I'm wrong, come back on the show and let me know. I would love to be wrong in this. But yeah, just because she received the work permit and social number and 131 approved does not mean is not a clear indication. It's not an automatic indication that she's going to be approved for the 45. Because if that was the case, they would just approve the 45. All right, what's up, y'all? Thank you so much. I see some requests to join the live show. I don't know if that's on accident, but um, I'm not quite ready for that yet on the live show. I would need a moderator. All right, so let's go to Tally Co. Your brother did file a second I-130 with the 824. In your second I-130, AR after week, what does that mean? AR approved? I think AR is, management wise, accounts receivable, financial wise, I mean. But what's your question, Tyler? Maybe your question is about the 824 specifically, the processing times. Let's go to Mohammed real quick on YouTube, and I'll switch back over. Oh, actively reviewed after a week. Yeah, so actively reviewed means shit. Okay, folks, actively reviewed AR. I've never heard that acronym actually, but thank you for sharing. I need to start using that. Actively reviewed means nothing. Okay, because a lot of people, because we check statuses as a courtesy for our clients pretty much every month or every other month, depending on the case. And we see it actively reviewed for several months. But come on, think about it. If you see it for several months or even like 1 week straight, that doesn't actually mean someone has opened your file and kept it open for a year. I mean, 1 week to 1 month to several months straight. It just doesn't like the statuses online pretty much mean nothing until the very end. I would love to be wrong. Let me know. Hey, stunning Norma. Hello. If your mom did not get deported, okay. Oh, she left on her own to Mexico for 11 years. Okay, one illegal entry is 212 needed. No, it's not because it's been more than 10 years. So that's good. You save you some money on that one. I think that's like at least $900 too. Thank goodness. And technically, 601 is also not needed because it's been 10 years. So hopefully no other facts, like no left, entered, and left, because reentry after a legal entry is a permanent bar, which technically you could still apply. You just have to wait at least 10 years. But thank you for asking. Look, folks, y'all say skip question. I don't care, to be honest. I don't care if I skip your question. It's because y'all don't know. If you haven't been watching from the very beginning, you have to know. I'm trying to follow up from a previous comment. Okay. But let's get to your question then. If to be straight with y'all, I'm trying to give advice. Okay, good, normal. I'm also trying to give advice to literally everyone on many platforms, and this is just like a courtesy, right? So if you need questions answered, really the best thing to do, just specific for y'all, just to be straight with y'all, is go to the profile, the link in the specific platform. I really try my best. I try to go live every day. I couldn't go yesterday, but specific platform, the link, okay? It's like zap.bio, and depending on, anyway, go click on the link, fill out a few questions, and it'll take you to a page where you just pay a reservation fee. It's like a hotel fee. It's less than a cup of coffee. It's this amount, okay? Then our team is going to be able to answer your question most of the time, okay? Um, and the first meeting is not with an attorney, okay? If you, again, to be straight with y'all, if you want to speak with one of our attorneys directly, we do charge a fee for that part, like one and that amount. I can't say it out loud because this platform right here has taken me off for like 5 minutes, so I'm not going to risk it. All right, but you can go to our website. Our main website is greencardguys.com. All righty. Mohammed, your question: how many days does it take to get writ of mandamus after filing complaint? Depends on your case. I don't know what your case is, but if your case is like, for example, waiting for asylum interview, generally we get the result of the interview date within 1 to 2 months after filing a lawsuit, the complaint. But that's not the same for every other case application. Now, if you're asking if your situation is your case is abroad, it's not 1 to 2 months. It's gonna like again depends on your case. We also recommend waiting to file the lawsuit for a case abroad 6 months after your visa interview minimum. Okay, so hopefully that helps. But again, that's not like I need more information to give you that you probably want. Oh, diversity visa. Diversity visa is way more complicated, buddy. So sorry, but yeah, you have to schedule appointment. If did you get the interview ready? Um, you're late April. From what I heard, they're scheduling. They have scheduled interviews for diversity visa, but yeah, hopefully get yours sooner because, and I think they try to schedule it earlier this fiscal year because the past few years, ever since Trump stopped or had that ban, the class action lawsuit did nothing essentially, unfortunately, because it was too late. The fiscal year already passed. So hopefully you have the interview at least. Wish you the best. All righty, let's get down to this platform here. Kofi, thanks for the roses. Appreciate it. Okay, Goat on TikTok. Motion to expedite requests, timeline response from the judge. I don't know what you mean by motion to expedite, but I think you mean motion to advance your hearing, which means like let's say, for example, to just make sure, Goat, Uh, if your court hearing is like 2 years from now, we have filed a motion to advance hearing to have it scheduled earlier in time, like closer in time, then yes, that's what it's called. I mean, just motions in general, requests, I guess you could say, excuse me, to a court or judge, depending on the timeliness of the purpose of the motion, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. But something like that, it's probably not so much in a hurry. But there's no like timetable. I'm just sharing based on my experience. Um, because if your hearing is 2 years out, for example, that's not really a hurry unless your attorney did provide reasoning in the motion of why it needs to be expedited in that sense. Alrighty. Hope y'all doing well. All right, let's see. Thank you so much for your questions. I'm going to try my best to go a little bit faster. Angelica, so on TikTok. There are some people, of course, have want to become a dual citizen. Some people have been able to become a dual citizen. Now on the N-400 application, and when you take the oath, the USCIS officer asks you to make sure you know you're only going to be a citizen of one country. Um, they want to make sure that if you're noble royalty of another country, that you give that up and that you're only a citizen of the United States. Now, if they now does the your native country of nationality, would they know? Would they care if you're a U.S. citizen? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know your country's rules, but at least for America, they don't they don't demand you to bring your passport of your prior country of nationality to the oath ceremony or uh, for the purpose of tearing it up. So that's a good thing. All right, so that's just something to consider. I can't tell you 100% that, oh, for you or someone else that you can be a dual citizen, but in general, the United States government does not want you to be a dual citizen, but they're not going to tear up your prior passport. So I don't know if that helps. Let's see. Happy Friday. What y'all doing this weekend? Anything fun? Alrighty. Okay, Miriam on TikTok. If you were born in Mexico and now you're a citizen, does that automatically make you have dual citizenship? Um, I suspect so, assuming that country of Mexico, or their government agency doesn't do anything with your other prior passport. And I know that many people ask this kind of question because maybe could have eligible for retirement benefits or other benefits in your original country of nationality. Um, and I understand that because some people have told me that, and also especially like China. I know a lot of people who are residents of China, but they don't want to become a citizen because they can't pull their money out of China. So that's a real concern, of course. Alrighty. Carlos. Carlos, how old was I when I took the bar? I took the bar and I passed the first time, thank God. Um, but if anyone else who's thinking about being a lawyer or tried one time, second time, just keep going, keep trying. Keep trying. Um, don't let this stupid bar exam take you down. Okay. All these tests are ridiculous. But how old was I? I don't remember the age right off the top of my head, but I remember what year. It was 2011. Come on, Carlos. Age is nothing but a number. Come on. But I've had, in all seriousness, I've had classmates that were like, if I'm 60 years old, I didn't ask their age, but 50, 60 years old. You could be any age, really. And I had a classmate that was like 19 years old when she entered law school. I was like, holy hell, that is like super genius. Alrighty. Okay, Pepe on TikTok. USCIS sent your green card to the wrong address. Oh man, sorry to hear that. Wants you to resubmit this application. I have a feeling that Pepe, that your application that you filed was for I-90, and they tend to do that for the I-90. And I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. But if they already told you that, you're gonna have to do it. Well, did you submit an inquiry also? If you submit an inquiry, you already did you change your address? Like, did you actually move? Because we've had some clients where for a work permit, not for a green card, but they moved, they updated the address. We updated address on USCIS.gov, and they also did the USPS forwarding mail, and the work permit still didn't get to the new location. So that was ridiculous. Fortunately, they were able to reissue it, but there are some scenarios where they will ask you to reapply, unfortunately. The one I can recall, I think like 6 months ago, we had to reapply for a client's advanced parole 131. Unfortunately, the decision was even faster. But my goodness, they didn't want to just remail the notice. Like it's not that difficult, government. If you work for USCIS, please, for the love of God, make it easier for people to just get the duplicate notice. Like actually, online it says you could, but they don't approve it for everyone. All right, Yazan on YouTube. What does it mean when the visa officer tells you that your application will be in advanced administrative processing (AP)? He didn't give you any paper related to 221G. You didn't receive anything from the embassy, and the passport is still there. You sent an email, no answer. Yeah, a lot of people unfortunately have been in your similar situation. Okay, okay, folks. So administrative processing. Consider it the black hole. Okay, for immigration, for consular processing cases, the black hole, the swamp. As much as you try to individually email them, contact them, call them, and say, what the hell's going on with my case? Why is my visa not issued by now? It's been like 6 months. They don't care. Okay. Or for you, F1, they don't care. They have to do certain process. Okay. They have their own workflow. And for most people, 99.9% of people, is a background check, background screening. And again, I mentioned earlier, my 2 cents is that why not the government do that before the interview? But they don't. Okay, they don't. I think it's backwards, but maybe they don't want to expend money on it, and that's all. It's the moolah, it's the dinero, it's the money. Okay, it's all about the money bags, right? Expenses. Because I've read an affidavit because from a government State Department officer whose job is to have knowledge about this process. We know this because we sue the government, and there's an affidavit that essentially more or less says it's like one pager says that they depend on subcontractors to do the background check. You would think there's like an easy button for them to do this, but no, they don't have one apparently. Could they create one? I'm pretty sure they can create one. The way our US military works, I would think they could create a freaking button to just get this background check results much faster. But they don't. Okay. I'm not here to try to give you all a hard time. I'm just trying to give you all facts. Okay. Provide better expectations. So y'all are not, I mean, it's concerning, of course, the government process, but but if you don't have this knowledge, then of course you're going to be even more concerned, right? So, and y'all don't need to pay like $100, $200 for a consultation fee with an attorney just to find this information out. I'll give it to you here right now. So Yazan or anyone else in a similar situation, generally in this situation for administrative processing, okay, talk about the solution right now. It's the minimum 6 months before filing a lawsuit. So I know a lot of people have inquired with us, contacted us, like, hey, John, I just had an interview last week. I just had an interview yesterday. Can we sue the government? Like, I know some of y'all are ready to go. But for this situation, we actually do need to give them at least minimum 6 months to conduct, if they are doing it, hopefully, if they could say they're doing it, they got to do it. The background check. We got to give them 6 months at least, okay? Because I would not want a situation where we sue the government and the assigned U.S. attorney gets back to me and says, John, we need 6 more months because, You should have known to give us time for background check. So that's what I'm trying to tell you that. Okay. Hey, Dorothy Mori on Instagram. Is it required to have the C-19 jab to become a citizen? No. You're already a resident, so you don't have to take another vaccine, any kind of vaccine, fortunately. Thanks for asking. How y'all doing today? TGIF. I know my team says it a lot. Duba Wally on TikTok. U Visa. Which year and month are they working on right now for U Visa? I'm not exactly sure at the moment, but generally the backlog has been about 5 years. Okay, the past few years has been about 5 years. So let me know in the comments if which month and year you filed the 918 form. Which, by the way, real quick hot tip: if you are a victim of a crime, you could be a victim of crime and you don't even know it. Okay, or abuse and you don't realize it. It happens often. But if you are aware of UVISA or you've been a victim of a crime, and when you eventually get the certification form for a law enforcement officer or district attorney's office or even a judge to sign it, the certification form is only valid for 6 months. Okay. Why am I sharing this with you? Because we have a new client that signed up with us. Of course, I'm not sharing confidential information. I'm just sharing generally why you have to ask your attorney questions. Okay. Now, so don't wait 6 months and then ask a question. Okay. And I'm not saying that client did or did not do that. Just trying to give you a tip here. If you have an attorney, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but just trying to share knowledge here. Things to ask, when to contact your attorney, depending on the case. But first of all, the main thing is I want to make sure you need to make sure that your attorney has filed the case, right? And unfortunately, just asking them, have you filed the case is not enough. You need freaking proof. And the best proof is really either the tracking number, and which we provide by email to all clients. After we mail it out, we always mail it with a tracking number with USPS priority or FedEx. Okay. That's proof number one. Proof number two is the receipt notice. So that would be typically 3 weeks to 5 weeks after you file the case. All right. Those are very important for us to share with our clients. So if you've not received those and it's been at least a month, you just want to check in with your attorney, your law firm that you've hired, and say, hey, by the way, I haven't received this information. You said you guys have mailed it out or filed it, but I haven't received anything. Do you have anything? Like what assurance can you provide me? We do not get offended by that question, okay? So if your law firm gets offended by that question, that's a red flag, okay? That is a red flag. And so the sooner that you make a decision to possibly switch attorneys, the better, because the file that we opened, I think like within the past month, there was a certification form, but it expired. It's only valid for 6 months. And that form was signed for this client like before 2020. Woo! Yikes. Come on now. So just giving y'all, I feel really bad for that client, but look, we're gonna just take action, do what we need to do, and just get it going. Okay. For the next thing. But I just hate for a situation like that if you already hired an attorney. But again, it'll be our pleasure to assist you if you need it. All right. Let's go next question here. Mhm. Okay, I think I'm in order here on TikTok here. Alma, Alma, your question is another great example of like, I don't think you need to pay a consult fee for this type of question. Okay, you got B1, you overstayed 3 months. Is it possible to apply for F1 or green card? No, unless you're going to be sponsored by a spouse who's a US citizen, or if you have a child that's an adult child over 21 that's US citizen, and then that can waive unlawful presence. Okay, but you're at 3 months now. If it's less than 180 days of overstay, which it is for you, then you don't trigger the unlawful presence bar. But after you have 180 days or more to up to 365 days of overstay, and then you leave the US, that's going to trigger the 3-year bar. And then if you overstay by more than 365 days and then you leave, that triggers a 10-year bar. Okay. So that's just, we just love sharing education about like that, doesn't make sense to pay a consult fee to get that kind of answer. So hopefully that helps. That's one of the reasons we go live. We try Monday through Friday. Let's see here. Let's see. Game changer. Oh, Gamero. Okay. How can your mom get a green card? She got deported in the 80s, and she's married to your dad, who's a resident. Okay, well, if she's currently in the U.S., which I have I don't want to call it suspicion. I have an inkling of an idea that she could still be here. That's going to be very difficult. I haven't heard a story where someone who's been removed on paper or deported on paper and still here and still get status. If you know someone, let me know. We'd love to hear it. I'm open minded by that. I take no offense if I'm wrong at anything. Um, but the first, but in general, your dad could file a petition. That's step number one. But it's the after that is the concern. Okay, and so one of them is you need to apply for a 601A if she's still here. If she's not in the United States, how long ago was that? 8 years. If she's not in the U.S., then you do have to, and it's been less than 10 years, then you do have to apply for the 601 form waiver. Okay, so that's still possible even if your dad's a what do you call it, resident. Yazan, back to you. Why is the visa officer? Why would the officer? Oh wait, let's see what else you said. You sent an email to them about an information you forgot to mention during the interview, which is related to the financial situation, but no answer. Is that okay? Yeah, don't expect them to reply. The officers, folks, the officer is not going to reply and just say okay. Like, realistically? What do you expect them to say? Thank you for the information. Like for us as a law firm, we would say that, like, thank you for the information, thank you for the documents. But the visa officers have so many applications. They're not going to reply. I mean, if they set up something automated, you would think that automates it for them. That's the part about AI that I like, and also like asking my team questions, like fun questions to ask them, like icebreakers. But in terms of ChatGPT, but I mean, it's the government. They should be able to use like some kind of system to give you some kind of peace of mind. But look, the U.S. government is not to give you peace of mind. Hate to break it to y'all, but if you have not been watching, learning about what Congress has been doing, just Google search TikTok ban. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. There's some Congress people. By the way, sorry, side note here. The person who drafted, I can't remember the name now, but I can tell you it's not a Democrat. Democrats are not wonderful, not all wonderful either. Okay, but the Republican person who created a bill to ban TikTok, okay, at least for the one that just got passed, signed by President Biden a couple days ago. After he drafted it, he bought stock in a particular company. Guess what stock that was? It starts with the letter M, formerly the letter F. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, that was a long tangent, but yeah, United States, they don't care. So that's why we got to fight back. That's why we got to sue those suckers. And Yazan, that is normal, unfortunately. They didn't ask for any documents or specific information at all. In most of these interviews, 5 minutes or less. And most of the time, it's at a window. It's not even like a office setting. It's pretty freaking ridiculous. Uh, and you also officers told you that you receive an update within a week. Why would he say that? I don't know, to appease you for a second. Um, but there's nothing you can do to hold him accountable for what he said, right? He or she said. At the end of the day, you gotta wait to see if you need to sue them. Hopefully, you don't have to, though. Hopefully, it works out for you. But that is nerve wracking, isn't it? They do that to a lot of applicants. It's ridiculous. All right, Falak, your question. IR1 visa interview was March 21st, 2023. Okay. The CO, the officer, put your case in an admin processing. Consular officer now more than 1 year, still has cases in admin processing. Abu Dhabi, many times tried the email, but still the same. Reply every time from embassy, still cases in admin processing. Yeah. So yours is a year now. I would sue. Okay, Falak. The last option right now is to sue the government. Okay. We do this all the time. Okay. Happy to help. Someone else has a similar question. UK 123456 on TikTok. How long does it take to get an interview? Okay, a little bit different. How long does it take to get an interview at Islamabad? IR1 case waiting for 1 year, 4 months. Yeah, even though there is a backlog in Islamabad, this after 1 year, I would sue. Okay, how much longer after that? I don't know in general. Because they don't have straight numbers. If they had straight numbers, like black and white table that's consistent, like I'll just share a copy for you, but there isn't, unfortunately. It's ridiculous. Okay, who else had a question maybe before that? Um, Julie Garcia, I just saw your question. So you applied for VAWA and you got a work permit, wonderful, but you haven't received anything else. It's been a year. Yeah, that's normal. VAWA in general takes about, with the 485 application, takes about 3 years. Okay. So keep track of it. Put in your calendar, like a work event, basically. Check your status every 6 months minimum. Let me scroll back down. I want to make sure I didn't skip anyone. I may have. Jules is interested to become attorney, probably, maybe. Immigration attorney. What steps to take to become an immigration attorney? Well, for one, before I even applied to law school, I already knew I wanted to practice immigration law. Okay. That's what I wanted to do based on the stories I heard about. So I knew that with practicing immigration law, I want to have clinical experience. And so there's a few clinics, at least at the time I went to school, that had an immigration clinic to help migrants, immigrants. Um, and so I went to City University of New York. So that, screened out my search essentially. But you don't have to be board certified after you become a lawyer or after you graduate law school, then you take the bar exam. But yeah, I mean, I'm jumping steps here, obviously, but law school is generally 3 years. There are a couple schools, I think one in LA or California, Los Angeles is 2 years. And there's also evening school. But evening school, I think, takes it because of less time per semester, takes like 4 years minimum. But send me a DM if anyone's interested to go to law school in general. Send me a DM. That's not necessarily what the channel's about, but I'm happy to share, happy to give back also in that regard. Let's see here. Thanks for the follow, folks. Which, by the way, if you are interested for more information, okay, here on TikTok at least, you can click on the profile up there. And I think sometimes on a live show it pops up down here, and then on the other platforms, click on a profile picture, and there's also a link right below it or something like that. All right, let's see here. Okay, I can answer two more questions, then I gotta hop over to a team meeting. I've got several now, and then let's see. Sharon Bless, what does it mean that I-131 case is terminated? Do you mean this like denied? Hmm. I've never heard the word terminated with specific to 131 unless well, because when you say case, that sounds like online it said that, or in a paper notices would say approved or denied, but I haven't seen terminated before. Maybe that's what you mean though. Soyet Soyeta on TikTok, do I think is a good time to apply to become a citizen? As long as you're eligible for it, there's a 3 and 5 year rule, but you can actually apply, um, at least with the 5 year rule, you can apply for 6 months before that. Okay. So, but you have to keep in mind about other requirements like continuous presence, things like that, to make sure you're eligible. But yeah, I don't know what you mean by good time, but yeah, meaning like eligible. As long as you're eligible, apply as soon as you can. Hey, KK Love Ford on TikTok. Your son is in Jamaica. I went there, it was approved since last March, still no movement. I'm making a safe assumption that you've already been documentary qualified, uploaded all those documents to the government portal. And the reason is because I'm making a safe assumption on the family preference category. If you're a resident sponsor and not a citizen, then I mean, general, even if you're a resident or yeah, if you're if you're a resident, then that's family preference category. And if your son's under 21. And so F2A, that's a long wait time, unfortunately. Okay, I can answer one more question. Someone asked, and I skipped it earlier, and it just caught my attention. Someone said, okay, the Don, Ada on TikTok. Your your dad is your. I think you meant to ask, is your DACA connected to your work authorization? Yes, but maybe what you meant to ask possibly is your DACA or work authorization connected to a company? And no, because or you might know this because you signed the application. It doesn't ask about the current company. That's nothing to do about sponsorship. It's I guess you could say that's a self application in a sense. All righty, folks. Thanks so much. Really appreciate it. I've come down to the end of the show. Thanks for the sharing, the hearts, and the follow. You all know what to do. If you want more information, you can DM us on your respective platform or give us a follow up top, subscribe. And if you know anyone that has questions about immigration or just want to hang out and watch the show, share our channel. Thank you so much. And y'all have a good one. Have a happy Friday. Take care. Peace.